I'd like to call this meeting Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 meeting of the Oldsmar City Council to order. The next items on the agenda are the invocation and pledge of allegiance to the flag that will be led by our city attorney. I also should note that Councilmember Norris is called in and she's joining us by speakerphone this evening. If you'd all please rise.
Heavenly Father, we pray this evening for the members of our armed services serving abroad. We ask for their safety and that they are returned to their homes and loved ones as soon as their duties permit. Give comfort to their families and friends in their absence and help us remember the sacrifices that they are making. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Well, before we start the meeting, just a couple of quick notes to remember. Of course, we are practicing social distancing, so we'd ask that you keep your mask on. We have ours off up here because we're spread out, and it's kind of hard to talk running the meeting with a mask on. In any event, but when you're up here at the podium speaking, you're free to remove your mask so everybody can hear you clearly, okay? Because I know we have a special presentation coming soon. All right, the next item on the agenda is a citizens open forum. We only have a couple of rules. Number one, that you have the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. You can speak to the council and the public as to anything that you wish, with the exception of item number 4, 6, and 7, which are public hearings. And when we get to those items on the agenda, you'll have the opportunity to speak at that time. We ask that you give your name, address, include the city for the public record. So I'm going to start on this side of the room. Is there anybody who wishes to address the council? Man, this audience is good. Audience is good. All right, how about over here? Do we have anybody else? Okay. Are you all together? Oh, okay. I was going to have you come up last, so come on up. All right. And so I'm going to indulge, with the indulgence of the council, I'm going to suspend the rules on the 5 minutes because we have a special presentation. So Tony Gross, if you please come up. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
First, I want to do a shout out to Linda Norris, who was tuning in by way of phone tonight. Hey, Linda, we wish you were here.
Thank you.
So we would like to do a short patriotic presentation tonight in observance of Gold Star Mothers and Families Day, which is the last Sunday of September. When a man or woman enters our armed forces, a Blue Star service flag is often presented to his or her family. This service flag contains a blue star, which represents hope and pride. The red border signifies the blood shed in defense of freedom at home and on foreign soil. The field of white stands for the purity of spirit and the price of peace.
When a warrior gives his last full measure of devotion in defense of this nation, the star on his Blue Star service flag is covered with a gold star. The gold star represents courage and the supreme sacrifice given to the cause of liberty and freedom. This service flag is a sign of honor, pride, and remembrance. We became Blue Star families when our sons, Bart and Frank, entered the military. Sadly, our sons' blue stars turned to gold when Bart died in Iraq supporting Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Frank in Afghanistan supporting Operation Enduring Freedom. I proudly display this Gold Star flag in my front window as a memorial of my sons' service and sacrifice.
Gold Star Mothers and Families Day is the last Sunday of September. It's a designated holiday to remember those members of the United States Armed Forces who made the ultimate sacrifice and to honor the families they left behind. Tonight, we'd like to recognize two Oldsmar Gold Star families. Will the families of U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Joseph P. Gariantes, killed in action May 18, 2004, and U.S. Army Corporal William D. O'Brien, killed in action March 15, 2008, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Will you please stand? And I've changed the order, so sit down and we'll call you up in just a minute. Last minute change. We would like to present you with a bronze plaque created and donated by Mr. Keenan Knopke, CEO and President of Curlew Hills Memory Gardens. So if you would, Keenan, come on up and I'll grab the plaque.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members here and on the phone. Thank you for the time this evening. The plaque looks like this. It's similar to the one on the battlefield cross that's on the front side of it, facing east, if I remember correctly. Tonight, we're asking your guidance and blessing to attach this to the west side of the battlefield cross, opposite where the plaque is currently. It will balance the plaque out, or the battlefield cross out, so people walking up and going away can see names on both sides. Hopefully, in the future, there will be no need to add other plaques. But if there are, there's room for 2 on each side, on the north and the south side, making it so you could add an additional 8 names. There's no cost to the city at all. With your guidance tonight, my staff will attach this to the battlefield cross with a product that will keep it there forever. And it will not harm what's currently there, and nor will it be an issue to the city in the future.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would our Gold Star families please come up? And if you would, talk briefly about your fallen loved one.
Good evening, council members and mayor. I'd like to tell a little bit about my husband, Staff Sergeant Joseph Gariantes. He was killed in action May 18th, 2004, while on combat patrol in Iraq. Joe was a tanker. He loved being a soldier, loved being a tanker. He was a mentor to his team, his battle buddies, his whole platoon. And that day, it was very early in their deployment. They just deployed in February, and he was shot in May. So it brought the morale down, as he was such a big team leader. He joined the Army in 1991. And like I said before, he was a big mentor to his soldiers. No matter what they needed, he would help them through and guide them through everything, whether it was passing a PT test, the gun range, or just sitting in the office having a cup of coffee, complaining about their day. He was always there for them. He's originally from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and he's the youngest of 5. His whole family resides there still. And avid sportsman, basketball, baseball, a big golfer, and he even lived in Fort Myers for about a year during his high school years. So I think that's where he picked up golfing, since it's so big in Florida. I met my husband in '93, and we have 2 wonderful children who are now 21 and 23. My oldest son also followed his footsteps and joined the Army and returned from Afghanistan last year. Thankfully, thank God. we continue to carry on his legacy with honoring him through different organizations, whatever there is we can do to carry his name on. Thank you for having us here, and have a good night.
Thank you for sharing the story.
How you doing? I thank the mayor, the council for having us up here and for the opportunity to potentially have this plaque placed on the monument at the Veterans Memorial Park. Appreciate your consideration. I'll tell you a little bit about my brother, William David O'Brien. He was killed in action in March 15th, 2008 in Baghdad, Iraq, by small arms fire. He joined the Army at the ripe old age of 17 years old with signed permission from both of his parents so he could go in early, following the footsteps of his two older brothers who are already currently in the military. On that fateful day, he was part of the quick response force, and he was off that day, but decided to go anyway when another member couldn't make it because they were sick. So he got up on that turret on top of a Humvee, and the sniper took a one in a million shot. God. So I'd like to thank you guys for your consideration, and please remember William. He was a hero.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
There is also another representative of a Gold Star family, and it is Wade Saborin, and he is here representing Brennan Steyer. Brennan Steyer. Would you like to say a couple of words about him?
I just want to honor him today. My girlfriend's nephew, killed in action, Afghanistan, October 15th, 2009. Just like to honor his memory.
So it is our hope that perhaps once every 10 years, like 2020, 2030, if there are killed in action as a result of enduring freedom or Iraqi freedom or any current conflicts, or if a family moves into the area and resides here for any amount of time. These two families have been here for several years, 7 years or more, and the names would be added, only killed in action names from the global war on terror and conflicts going forward. So we are hoping that we do have your blessing to attach this beautiful plaque that Keenan graciously donated on the Fallen Soldiers Battlefield Cross. And we would like to do this on Gold Star Mothers and Families Day. We will gather at the Battlefield Cross to look at it and just to remember our heroes.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for presenting. It's very important. You know, the pandemic has made things more and more difficult for us to honor our heroes and to make sure that their memory is never lost. And it's something that our city takes very serious. I wasn't aware of the plaque. I wish I would have known. Does the Veterans Advisory Board already take a look at it? No? I would say that there's nothing wrong with putting it on. We still go back to the Veterans Advisory Board just so we kind of keep that same protocol unless anybody objects to that.
That sounds like the proper protocol.
Perfect. Because timing-wise, we'd like to not miss that opportunity. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay. But
could we go ahead and put it on there for the...
I was saying, let's go ahead and put it on, knowing that we're going to go back through the process so that way we can honor them on that day.
Yes.
And we'll kind of do it after the fact. But you know why? Because we can if we want to. So that's what we're going to do.
So we would like to invite all of you to join us there for sometime. We're not sure about the time yet, but we'll let you know.
Well, let us know, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here tonight.
And now,
I was told that I had to do this by General,
now I'm concerned.
General Gross. Okay. Wade Saborin just came out. I'm Craig Gross, 711 Satin Leaf Avenue, and I am the proud Gold Star father of Corporal Frank Robert Gross. You know, before I get started here, I think it's only fitting that we would recognize two great heroes that are amongst us tonight, Frank Chicola and Mark Brill, two Purple Heart recipients, Vietnam veterans. Thank God that we have a lot of people who came home and are still, we still need to thank them on a regular basis for their service. Thank you very much, John.
Absolutely.
That's why we are a Purple Heart city.
Yep, and they spend a lot of time making sure that is happening. So,
Monica, the Gold Star wife, needed her floors repaired in her home, and Wade, who just stood up here, he had two local service people that helped him. Jeff Frederick, I don't know if he knows Jeff Frederick, he's an electrician, and Scott Lester, I guess he's the Echo Roofing based here in Oldsmar. They both gave all of their time and money and resources and everything to fix Monica's floor. And, you know, because a lot of Gold Star families, you know, I mean, they need a lot of help sometimes. And so, Wade, thank you very much, and we're very thankful for that. Also, once again, thank you to Keenan. And we want to also, is Susan Hurley here tonight? No, I don't think so. I didn't see her. We really want to thank Susan for what she's doing to continue the legacy of those who have served in our community down in our history, downstairs, the History Museum.
Library.
The library, yes. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Well, it used to be downstairs, so I understand why you might have got it confused now.
Yes, yes. Okay. Coming up on Sunday, the 27th of September, every year, there is this is sanctioned by Congress. It is called the Gold Star Family Day. And the Gold Star Family Day, a tradition for us is to light luminaries. And a luminary simply means source of light. And I just want to say this. If we quit doing what we're doing right now, recognizing the fallen, our Purple Heart recipients, if we quit doing this, we will become nothing but a blip on the radar of history. Because we need to honor and respect and understand that freedom is never free and it will never, ever be free. We have brought luminaries and we'll pass these out at the end tonight so that all the members of City Council can get them. I guess we'll hand them out now. But anyhow. So these Gold Star, these are what this is a luminary, okay? We're providing with them with candles inside and information about our son or whoever's name happens to be on the bag. If there's not a name on the bag, then we ask that you put a name on there in honor of a fallen soldier. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much to our City Council. You have always been very gracious and very liberal with our time, and we thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless America.
And briefly, when we also wanted to invite the general public, everyone here, to the Oldsmar Library for the Remember Florida's Fallen War Memorial Photo Exhibit. That is going to be in place September the 21st until the 25th. And we're grateful that Susan Hurley, once again, and the library staff has a beautiful location right there in the grand entrance to the library. So please take your children, take everyone out to the library to see this beautiful memorials exhibit. And I just want to thank Keenan again He has been the host and guardian of this exhibit that has gone throughout the state of Florida for the past 6 or 7 years now. Yes. So if you've never seen it, please go down to the library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank all of you. Thank you for being here, making sure that everybody is aware and knows. Very important, and we'll get that on there on a temporary basis. It'll go through the, the process, just so that we keep it that way, right? But if you've never seen the exhibit that Tony was just referring to, I strongly encourage our citizens to go out. It is very moving. I would encourage you to come and just take some time there and read and really learn. It's really something. It's really something. So thank you for bringing it back to our city again. All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda is the community minute, which will be announced by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Oh, it is on. All right, census assistance. If you haven't been counted yet and you need some help getting counted, the community representatives of the U.S. Census will be out in Oldsmar on Wednesday, September 16th, so that's tomorrow, from 9 to 5 in the public library, to help residents complete their census and answer questions. Voter registration deadline to vote for the November 3rd general election is Monday, October 5th. For more information, visit votepinellas.com or call 727-467-VOTE. That's 727-464-8683. And just, of course, another reminder about the fantastic exhibit of Florida's Fallen. That's from 9 to 5 at the library, September 21st through the 25th.
Excellent, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of additional new agenda items, which would be item number 10. The chair will entertain a motion to approve item number 10. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. I have a second. Do I have any discussion?
Okay, quick.
That's it. I don't know why we're suddenly picking up the speed. There's no dropping of a puck or anything like that. All right, Senton, you're ready to vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, awards and recognition, presentation of Employee Service Award, our city manager, Mr. Alf Braithwaite.
Thank you, Mayor. We have one service award to give out tonight. It's a 10-year award, and it's for Carl Swigert. Carl, you want to come up?
Yep.
Congratulations. If Patrice was here, I'd give her that.
I'm going to get it anyways.
Congratulations. And I did have a couple things I'd like to say about Carl. Carl is currently a facilities maintenance worker for us and has been with us now for 10 years. As most of you know, I do a little homework on personnel files to try and embarrass him, but we couldn't find an old picture of him, so that's the best one we've got, and that's pretty much recent, so he looks pretty good.
He hasn't aged today.
Yeah, he looks relevant. Most of them are kind of a long time ago. Anyway, so Carl's another great one. I say stolen from Clearwater because we've had a great deal of success with people that have worked in the city of Clearwater. In Carl's case, Carl was a solid waste supervisor, but he was employed by the city of Clearwater for 29 and a half years. Wow, you old. Woo. 10 years with us, 29 and a half with Clearwater. Originally hired as a maintenance operator, but he started as a temporary groundskeeper here, promoted quickly to an equipment operator in 2011, then again to a heavy equipment operator in 2012. Became a facilities maintenance worker, which is what he is now, in leisure services, and somewhere in there he took a voluntary transfer from the heavy equipment operator position in order to work nights. That may not sound like much, but good night guys are very, very hard to find. He also served our country in the United States Army from 1981 to 1984. Thank you for your service. His 10-year anniversary was technically on September 6th. What does he do? He does it all. In his 10 years with us, he has done everything from mangrove trimming, building trusses at the Environmental Education Center, locking and unlocking buildings, painting rooms, hanging drywall. He has maintained irrigation systems, maintained landscape medians, assisted in the completion of the Mobley Bayou Trail, ran the bunker rake for softball field prep, and the bush hog if you need him. He has run the bucket loader, the bobcat, and the forklift. He serves as the rental police, making sure that all of our facility rental people live up to their responsibilities. And Carl literally holds the keys to the city, every single one of them. Comments from his personnel file. These are quotes. He is rock solid, never complains, requires no supervision, dependable, always looks for ways to improve processes in order to be more efficient. I love that one. He interacts with staff and the public, mostly youth sports teams. That's harder than it sounds. He's a great representative of the city and its mission, self-motivated, volunteers assistance wherever needed, team player, and always displays a positive image of the city. He thinks ahead. He will make his own arrangements for coverage if he is planning a vacation, which, as you'll find out a little later, is rare. He enthusiastically volunteered to assist on the completion of the BMX track. Now we know who to blame. All right. This one's my favorite one. His former boss was Lynn Reeves, our Leisure Services director years ago, and was never ever known for giving high praise on evaluations. The one that caught my eye most is he wrote, gives a focused effort. Dang, that's good stuff. Gives a focused effort. I love that. So some awards, I think you've seen there's some commonality to our personnel that stay for a while. They tend to win awards. Carl received recently the Council Manager Award in November 2019 with his facilities teammates. He was nominated for the Brunson Schreckengost Award in December 2018 for excelling in all of his duties, receiving more than one nomination, which has never happened before. Nominated for the City Manager Impact Award in July 2018 with his facilities team for multiple projects completion, including a room addition at Cypress Forest, fixing windows after a new installation by a vendor at City Hall, and remodeling of the State Street Center. He's received a Perfect Attendance Award in 2013-14 and 2014-15. That's two consecutive years without a single sick leave hour. He's been the department representative on the Employee Action Committee for Leisure Services, indicating the trust that his colleagues have with him. Remember that I said previously that he does it all. I was serious, and this is true. Carl was once asked to assist Oldsmar Little League in getting rid of an unwanted visitor, hint, from Gainesville, a gator who showed up at a baseball practice.
Wow.
Yes, a real one. I saw the picture, at least 8 feet long. He didn't hesitate, and with skilled use of a stick or shovel, I can't remember that part, and a garbage can, Carl got the job done, getting the gator to go back where he came from. Like I said, he does it all. Hidden secret, if you're really nice to Carl, he just might get his wife Patrice to make you some strawberry preserves. Man, that was good. Just remember, if you want more, you got to return the jar. The only time I can ever remember him taking a day off is when he broke his hip. That's what it took. Great employee, as dependable as can be. Carl, thank you for serving our organization for the past 10 years with great distinction, and congratulations. I wouldn't let you retire after you broke your hip, and now that you're all fixed up, I think you're good for another 10 years. Thank you, sir. Now get back to work.
Just real quick. I want to thank you all for letting me come here and work. It's been a real pleasure. I want to thank you, Felicia. If it wasn't for you, I would have quit a long time ago. Thank you.
You're the best.
Well, you know, that's pretty true of the whole staff. If it wasn't for Felicia, I would have quit a long time ago. Can we hug? Not right now. Later.
Did you get it? Can you get it?
I'm playing hockey, you're not.
I can't.
Aw, perfect. Awesome.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. All right, next.
Retiring November 13th.
No, whoa.
No.
Bring the check back. No, okay. All right, next item on the agenda is the Community Redevelopment Agency. Item number 2, consider proceeding with the development agreement between Simone and Associates LLC and the City of Oldsmar, and further authorize the city attorney to prepare a development agreement and associated documents. Do you want to speak on this, or would you like me to?
Council's pleasure. I'd be glad to speak on it.
Well, I wanted to note a couple of things. The bullet points that were provided to us in the background package documents, in the council package, the items that are listed in there, they are not absolute, just so you know, but there is a meeting of the minds on those items, and they're likely to change or have some variation. The purpose of this being on the agenda, if you'll recall at the last meeting, we expressed concern as to the lack of progress with the Simone Group in the city. And, you know, frankly, this has been rolling on for quite some time, and I think we all felt that if we couldn't make the progress, that it was time to move to the second bidder, or for lack of a better word, second ranked. And so it sounds like that progress has been made. I will defer at that point to you to kind of confirm that.
I think you hit it. We've achieved a meeting of the minds. We're asking council to direct the city attorney to create the specific development agreement and all the other associated documents.
All right, this time the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilmember Saraki, a second from Councilmember Norris. Discussion.
Go ahead, Katie.
Vice Mayor, are you taking over here? What's this?
Did you have your hand up first?
No, he was acknowledging you to go ahead and speak.
Oh.
The council members are a little confused tonight. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Saraki and Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I want to first state that the comments I'm about to make are not in any way indicative of my support for a hotel on that corner or my support for our overall plans for the area next to City Hall. To the contrary, I want to ensure the success of that project with every breath. I think all of us on this council desperately want to ensure the success of that project. It's for that reason that I make these comments. I have very serious concerns about a lot of the events that have transpired thus far during these negotiations. We've had multiple recurring issues with the site plan, which persist to this day. The timeline was previously presented by our assistant city manager, I think in July or so. We've had multiple occasions on which we've had to sort of threaten to move on to the next ranked proposal and to get movement forward, to force the issue, so to say. And I know the items listed in the agenda for the meeting of the minds on some specific issues, the bullet points that you mentioned. I have real concerns whether there will be an actual agreement on a variety of those items, including the parking issue and the performance bond. I'm concerned about the level of involvement of staff, sort of acting as project manager to a certain extent. I've had, multiple conversations with the city manager, the city attorney, the assistant city manager, dating back to last November, but we've had several work sessions to discuss these issues, the first of which we were presented with a completely sort of different product without the rooftop bar, and then the rooftop bar came back, and then it's kind of evolved over time, but it's been a rough road. It's been a rough road, and it leaves me with this feeling, this discomfort and uneasiness that I fear future deadlines of the development agreement or conditions outlined in this tentative agreement we have before us will not be met, leading to an incredibly disappointing but eventual result. And I feel that at this point, with all of the aforementioned issues in mind and my deep, deep desire for us to find success and movement on this particular piece of property, I can't support moving forward with this developer.
Comments? Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One thing I want to mention is we are currently under a pandemic right now, so things have changed. Our whole process for this project has changed. The time frame, what's been going on. So I feel that moving forward, because this project, I would like to see it moving forward. I think that because of this, Katie, some of the things that you mentioned are true, but because of the environment that we're living in right now, that has changed. So I kind of am glad that the Simone Group has moved forward and has come to terms with our agreement to move forward with this project. I feel that the site plan that I saw the last at our work session was acceptable, and I understand that the changes in our time frame are now coming to happen. So I would like to move forward with this project, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Norris.
Did you just call on me, Mr. Mayor?
I did. Do you have any comments?
Yes. Well, first of all, the questions that I had pertaining to the garage and the setbacks and the height and everything, Al and Felicia did answer those questions. And I do understand Vice Mayor Gannon's reservations, but I do agree with Councilmember Saraki that COVID has just turned everything upside down, and thinking anything is going to go according to plan and timeline during a global pandemic, I think I mean, I do understand that there has been, problems with the timing and everything else, but I feel confident that Simone Group can give us our dream of a downtown. So I'm in favor of this.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. In regards to the mention of the pandemic and stuff, I don't know if that's entirely excusable for some of the, hiccups and issues that have happened. In mention of the site plan, there's still 20, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from the city manager, 20 outstanding comments from the last site plan review that have still yet to be resolved. So I do kind of have the same sentiment as the vice mayor that, it does bring me worry that how much longer or how many more hurdles will there have to be just to get it. And again, I would love nothing more than to see a very broad development down there and bring a vibrant atmosphere to Oldsmar. But it is very concerning to me, especially kind of with my experience, not in construction, but projects in general of a significant scale. At some point you have to realize, just because we want to get it done, is it the right path to get it done? So, and kind of on that note with timing is, I understand with the city attorney, there'll be some time involved to prepare what amounts to 5 documents to get done. But at what point do we still, if there's struggle with discussions, again, almost revisit this if those documents haven't gotten to a point where they're ready to be signed? So that's where I stand on this. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right. So here's where I come out on it. I was one of the ones who raised the concern about where we're at our last meeting, in part because we just have not been making progress. And we're at a point where, frankly, the progress was going backwards, right? So some of the key issues suddenly were changing, and these were issues that had been part of the original presentation seem to be problematic now for the developer to follow through on. And so when that started happening, it frankly is kind of a concern, where is this ever going to happen? Now, here's what I would say to that. I don't know that the pandemic, frankly, has had any impact on this. What I do believe the pandemic has had an impact, I will tell you with certainty, has had an impact on all of our attention and focus and resources, because that's been much more of a priority for us as a city, and I think that's been fair to say about everybody. Having said that, I know that the developer has put and invested a lot of money this far into the project. And they do have a track record here in the city of Oldsmar of building and operating hotels. And for that very reason is part of the reason why I ranked them first. Having said all that, I do also know that Tom has been working on the documents that accompany this transaction for some time. So what it ultimately should come down to is the agreeing of the finer points. It's not necessarily the timeline that it would take to develop those documents, because that's been being worked on at the same time, even though we haven't been in a position to start sharing those and getting down to that finer point because we couldn't come to an agreement. I'm okay with us staying the course and let's go get it done, understanding that. If the issues as it relates to some of the lack of, I don't know if responsiveness is the right word, even the more of the accuracy of some of the issues we've had with the plans that we've received, with some of the drainage issues, some of those types of issues continue to persist. I mean, it kind of becomes easy to say, if this is not going to work, then we have to resolve it, and not essentially another color of the same problem. You know, we have to solve those things. If staff comes back and says, look, this isn't happening, then I would move on. I think it would be a mistake to move on right now. I do. I think it would be a setback in time, and I realize that it's going to be a task to get through this. What I would say is we have gotten through these types of tasks before, maybe not as quote, the owner of the property, or the land, I should say, but with other projects within the city that we've gone through the process for. This is more complicated, I recognize, because of the intricacies of the parking requirements and the public parking and so forth, but I feel like at this point in time, it would make sense to stay the course. Let's go get it done, and you know, and put an extra effort into it. And I would suggest that the developer make sure that they do that. And so with that, I'm going to go for, I'm assuming you're ready to vote. Is that correct? Okay. I'm going to ask for a roll call.
We need a motion.
Yeah, we had a motion and a second to approve.
For discussion.
And then made a second.
Yep. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
No.
Vice Mayor Norris?
Councilmember Norris says yes.
No, yes. Vice Mayor Gannon?
No.
And Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Approval to proceed with the development agreement between Simone and Associates and City of Oldsmar, and further authorize the city attorney to prepare the development agreement and associated documents, passes with 3 votes for and 2 against, Gannon and Knapp dissenting.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a consent docket, item number 3, which will be announced by our city clerk.
Yes, consent docket, item number 3, approve payment to legal counsel for August 2020 legal services.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve item number 3.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, City of Oldsmar City Attorney, item number 4.
Council members, item number 4 is the public hearing for the second reading of the adoption of ordinance 2020-11. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2020-11, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar amending Article 4, use of golf carts upon designated city streets, of Chapter 66 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oldsmar to authorize golf carts to be operated on certain city streets, to prohibit golf carts to be operated on the Oldsmar Trail and other places as otherwise prohibited by law, providing for severability and providing for an effective date hereof. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2020-11 by title only.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion to approve, or do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Vice Mayor? Okay, discussion.
Can I go over a couple of things with you just before you do that? I just want to make sure that you understand that today I went ahead and sent out to each one of you at your email addresses late in the afternoon a revised ordinance 2020-11 to recapture the registration language. It was left out in the draft that was before you in the agenda package. That has been added back in. That is under section 66-106, registration of golf carts. I understand that there had been some discussion or concern relative to the registration fee of $10. And so if there is interest in changing the language and 66-106 relative to the registration fee. We can do that tonight. I would like it to be included in the motion as to what you would like to do to accomplish that. Okay. I have some suggested language. If you would like to hear it, it would be to change that sentence in section 66-106 that says, it currently says, the registration process shall include the payment of an annual registration fee in the amount of $10. I would suggest, if you want the $10 to come out of the code, that it would read, the registration process shall include the payment of annual registration fee in an amount set by resolution of the City Council. And that way it can change from year to year, or in other words, go up or down. You won't have to change your code every single time you change that dollar amount. Okay. So that's just my suggestion. So other than that, from the first reading, there were some changes that were added to the ordinance, and those changes specifically were to address heavy traffic roads. They were added in because before the direction was to prepare the ordinance to specifically reflect that all city streets would be available for golf carts. The assistant city manager had made some suggestions and through city staff that the golf carts be prohibited on certain streets in the Mears Industrial Park and the Cypress Industrial Park, Cypress Forest Industrial Park, and also on streets that had speed limits greater than 25 miles an hour. Those are all set forth in section 66-100. So I think we captured what city staff was looking for and what the council was looking for. The one that was handed out to you tonight on the dais is the correct version of the ordinance, and I'd be happy to answer any additional questions. And I know obviously Felicia is here too to answer questions as well.
All right, why don't we do this? Because what I'm going to probably do is ask that somebody withdraw their motion so that we can make a new motion that would incorporate whatever changes we wish to make. So let me see, who was it who made the motion to approve?
I did, I think.
Would you like to withdraw your motion?
Yes, I would.
Okay, that motion's withdrawn, so there's no motion on the floor right now. So what I would say is, why don't we have Felicia, if there's any questions of staff that, are there any questions of staff?
Were answered earlier.
No, I don't have any, Mayor. Mine were answered also last time.
I'm just curious. So Mears Industrial Park that we added in there, and we added that in there because of, I understand that the potential of a lot of larger vehicles, truck traffic, but from a practical standpoint, it's not like when you're over in Booker Creek in that area and there where you actually have a lot of large vehicle traffic, because back in there, if you ever drive back there, there's like no cars. There's nothing back there.
Perhaps other than Bayview between Tampa Road and 580?
That's busy.
That's pretty busy.
Maybe Tampa and 580.
Sort of
Well, it's, yeah. It's a crossing. We're allowed to cross a 580, a state road we're allowed to cross. We just can't ride on either side of it.
Sides of it.
Well, my point for bringing it up, any response to why? Is it just because it's potentially?
Yeah, so the technical review committee reviewed the streets and made the recommendation that the industrial park locations should be excluded based on the characteristics of the land uses and the roadways in those areas. So we did not do any traffic counts of those roadways because that would be a very large effort to get traffic counts on all these roadways in such a short period of time. So it's based on the industrial land uses and the characteristics of heavy truck travel that is associated with those industrial uses.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion? Any other questions of staff? All right, thank you. And I'm going to wait till we put a motion on to after public comments. Is that okay? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Man, everyone's just up on it tonight, huh? I like it. They're like, hey, Mayor, you see what time it is? Okay. All right, so the chair will entertain a motion to approve with the following amendment to section 66-016, registration of golf carts.
106.
Excuse me, 106, registration of golf carts, to strike and change the language in the second sentence to strike $10 and replace it with set by resolution. Okay?
So moved.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody else feel the same way about the Mears area, or are you good with where it's at?
Well, Mayor, I have.
Yes, right, go right ahead, Councilman.
Just as a thought, I mean, I think based on the restrictions of crossing the busier highways, I don't think there's a residential component, or there would be any residential access to that area. So it would be, they're kind of landlocked,
Here's,
if that's correct, I think.
well, if you allowed them to cross over on Bayview, right, cross 580.
I don't think they can cross 580 unless I'm mistaken.
They could if we remove that, right? So they could cross 580. That enables them to take a golf cart.
No, they can't.
I don't think they
can't cross the state road, Mayor.
It's DOT.
Well, I just asked that question. Can they go on Bayview between Tampa Road and State Road 580? Didn't I just ask that question?
Between Tampa Road and 580, not going over 580.
Cross 580.
All right, well then it's irrelevant. All right, any other comments?
Yeah,
Discussion?
I just, Mayor, real quick, I just agree with staff. There should not be golf cart.
Nobody goes there. Anybody else?
My motion stands.
Motion, we have a motion, second. Councilmember Norris, any comments?
Nope, you guys covered it. Thank you.
All right, since you get ready to vote, we'll take a roll call.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Ordinance 2020-11 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Good job, good job. Before we move on, let me just acknowledge staff's work on this. It's greatly appreciated. We've talked about doing this for a long time, and I think our citizens will be really excited about it. Even if you can't go into the Mears industrial section, they'll still be happy about it.
Many thanks to our
That's
city
it.
attorney and the ordinance review committee as well for getting on it.
Absolutely. Item number 5.
Item number 5 is Resolution 2020-33. I'll read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2020-33, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, ratifying Executive Order 2020-43, which provides for the extension of the COVID-19 state of emergency through September 7, 2020. Ratifying Executive Order 2020-44, which provides for the extension of the COVID-19 state of emergency through September 14, 2020, and providing for an effective date hereof. That was a reading of Resolution 2020-33 by title only.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Norris. Any discussion? Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda. I got to slow that train down a little bit, right? I forget that. Any other items, City Attorney?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is City Manager, item number 6.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 6 is a public hearing to adopt Resolution 2020-27, establishing a millage rate of 4.05 mils for fiscal year 2020-21. On July 21st, 2020, the City Council authorized the City Manager to complete the certification of taxable value indicating a proposed millage rate of 4.05 mils to the property appraiser. In August, Pinellas County Property Appraiser mailed the truth and millage notices to all property owners advising them of the city's proposed millage rate for fiscal year 2020-21. The proposed millage rate is equal to the previous year, which was also 4.05 mils. Florida statutes requires a separate vote by the City Council for adoption of a millage rate and a budget. The first public hearing adopting the tentative millage rate was held on Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. A second and final hearing is required tonight to adopt the millage rate. Resolution I would like to read in its entirety. Resolution 2020-27, a resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, setting the millage levy for the City of Oldsmar for the year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021. Whereas the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida has reviewed the proposed appropriations for the City of Oldsmar for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30, 2021. And whereas, in accordance with law, the Pinellas County Property Appraiser has certified to the City of Oldsmar a rolled back millage rate of 3.8460 mils. And whereas the proposed millage rate is greater than the rollback rate by 5.30%, and now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, in session duly and regularly assembled as follows. Section 1, that the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida hereby sets the millage rate for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021 at 4.05 mils. Section 2, that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon adoption. Mayor, that concludes the reading of Resolution 2020-27 in its entirety.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Seeing none, the chair will close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve from the council.
So moved.
I have a motion by the vice mayor. I have a second by Norris.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-27 establishing a millage rate of 4.05 mils for fiscal year 2020-21 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 7.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 7 is a public hearing to adopt Resolution 2020-28, establishing a budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. The proposed budget was presented to City Council on Friday, July 17th, 2020. The budget work session was held on July 28th, 2020. Florida statutes requires a separate vote by the City Council for the adoption of the millage rate and the budget. The first public hearing adopting the tentative budget was held Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. A second and final hearing is required to adopt the final budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. I would like to read the resolution in its entirety. Resolution 2020-28, a resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, adopting the budget appropriations for the City of Oldsmar for the year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021. Whereas the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida has reviewed the proposed appropriations for the City of Oldsmar for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida in session duly and regularly assembled, as follows. Section 1, that the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida does hereby tentatively establish the appropriations for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021 as follows. General Fund, $15,108,280. Public Safety Impact Fund, $182,000. Parkland Dedication Fund, $35,500. The Multimodal Impact Fund, $50,500. Community Redevelopment Agency Fund, $774,600. Debt Service for Veterans Memorial Park, $167,355. Debt Service for Harbor Palms, $283,980. The Capital Improvement Fund, $7,905,000. The Water and Sewer Operating Fund, $8,350,000. The Water and Sewer Impact Fund, $92,000. Stormwater Utility Fund, $1,869,000. The Solid Waste Fund, $2,995,500. Total budget appropriations, $37,813,715. Section 2, that all purchase orders for materials and services that remain open at year end for fiscal year 1920 are to become supplemental appropriations in the respective departmental accounts in the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021, unless canceled. Section 3, this resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption. Mayor, that concludes the reading of Resolution 2020-28 in its entirety.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing none, the chair will close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve from council.
So moved.
I have a motion by Saraki, a second by the vice mayor. Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Norris?
Councilmember Norris?
Sorry, I was on mute. I vote yes.
Vice Mayor Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-28 establishing a budget for fiscal year 2020-21 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 8.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 8 is council consideration of the fiscal year 2021 Business Assistance Program Agreement with the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. The current Business Assistant Partnership Agreement with the Upper Tampa Bay Regional Chamber of Commerce Incorporated, or as we know them, the Chamber, commenced on October 1st, 2019, and will expire on September 30th, 2020. This agenda item proposes to enter into a similar agreement with the Chamber for the period of 1 year beginning October 1st, 2020. Purpose of this agreement is to provide Chamber support of the City of Oldsmare's economic development efforts through the provision of specific services that enhance the business recruitment and retention efforts of the City of Oldsmar. Through this agreement, the Chamber provides enhanced services such as coordinating We Mean Business visits, stakeholder educational forums, and general assistance in the implementation of various economic strategies. Staff recommends support. The agreement funding is in the fiscal year 2021 operating budget in the amount of $15,000.
All right. Do we have anybody that you have speaking on this, or is that?
We can, if you'd like.
If you wanted to, I'll defer to staff. Yes, okay. Yes. Want to be brief? I should recognize that Mayor Beavis is here, who is now with the Chamber, so I don't always recognize him as the mayor every time.
I don't always recognize me.
But I did say to him earlier at City Hall, you better give a short report, Mr.
I will. I don't know, you're a little windy up there yourself, Mr. Mayor. I can say that now.
From him. Oh my God.
I'll be quick. Doug Beavis, Director of Business and Government Affairs for the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce.
Mark Howe, President, CEO of the Chamber.
President. I like it. Ooh.
We went over the agreement, and I think we all agree that it's great, and that we would also probably try and go above and beyond what that is. Part of it was a report, and I did not acknowledge to Felicia that we were going to give somewhat of a report. It's not a formal report, but we wanted to kind of summarize. And I think it's as much for the council as it is for us and our board of directors, because we did kind of step outside the box with the COVID. Just kind of a quick recap. We Mean Business. We did it in October, November, and January. In February through July, it was suspended. We kicked it off again in August. And I think it's important with the COVID that we start to reach back out to these economic development meetings. We had them in August, September, October of 2019, as well as January, February, March of 2020, and we did those in person at the Chamber. Typically about 8 to 10 people. We did not host them in April and May, obviously due to COVID. In June, we went to Zoom, which was a great increase in attendance. June, we had Senator Hooper. July, the property appraiser, Mike Twitty. In August, we had Pinellas Cares talk about their programs in phase 2. In September, we had the Tampa EDC and Hillsborough Cares, as well as talking about export businesses, services that are available for those. Those are about attended now by regularly about 30 to 40 people, and I think we'll wind up with hybrids of those moving forward, as will probably a lot of things. Not really part of the agreement, but trustees, we've really tried to step that up a little bit. We had the supervisor of elections last month, or actually this month, which was really interesting to hear, especially with a lot of the concerns about mail-in ballots. It was really great to hear the level of detail that the state and Pinellas County has gone to assure that the mail-in ballots are secure here in the state of Florida. Interestingly, only 32 states are part of a coalition to share voter data and voter databases, which is kind of interesting. We share a lot of other databases, but not that. And then next month will be a great one again with Dr. Susan McManus just prior to the election. Chamber TV is something that's great. We've really tried to step that up as well, a chance for local businesses to showcase their business, and nowhere else can you get for free the type of production that we put into, or WeBeam TV does, to put basically a 10 to 12 minute infomercial together for the businesses. We recently hosted them at Oldsmar Businesses, Praneek Wellness and Fitness, Yoga and Fitness, and Beechwood. We did Beechwood right after the pandemic. Great infomercial for them to share on their social media. We also hosted Edward Jones, Palm Trees Only, and they record about their 10 to 12. Tomorrow we're hosting it at Superior Wine and Spirits on Douglas Avenue, and we will have one of the components will be Tidal Wave Car Spa. We are doing Lunch and Learns, which is one of the components of the agreement. We've been hosting that every Wednesday throughout the year, with the exception of 6 weeks throughout the pandemic. Speakers and local businesses come together to discuss business topics, strategies, and ideas. We've done over 100 press releases covering items such as sandbag distribution, career hiring events at businesses, emergency proclamations, small business grant programs, a multitude of CARES update programs for businesses and residents. Some of the other things that we've done are programs prior to hotels and restaurants opening. We held a Zoom call with the restaurants and the hotels to kind of understand where they were at and share with them some of the findings that we had to assure a safe opening as we went through the pandemic, which oddly seems like quite a long time ago that we did that. We develop and continue to update both restaurants and business lists that we did with the chamber and the city to talk about who was open, who was closed, menus and hours. In April and May, we hosted Zoom calls with our businesses almost every day, 3 times a day, morning, noon, and in the evening, with our businesses to talk about city updates, CARES programs, PPP update, answer any questions, and really more importantly, when we were in the middle of the pandemic, it was an opportunity for our local businesses to kind of get on a Zoom call and feel like they're not out there on an isolated island. It was a chance for us to talk and kind of still stay in touch with each other, even if it's from a distance. We had first responder dinners. We did about a dozen of those, feeding anywhere from 10 to 40 responders. And we did that by purchasing food from a lot of our local businesses. And we got financial assistance as well from a lot of our local businesses. So business helping business to help the first responders. In May, we started dinners and drinks at our local restaurants, including Salt Rock, Beechwood, Jack Willie's, Ruby Tuesdays, Casa Costenza, and more. That was every Wednesday, May to August, and now twice a month in August to now, and it's attended by 20 to 25 people, depending on their COVID allowance and how many they can get in there. In August, we kicked off the Road to Recovery, which Mark has. It's a scavenger hunt with over 100 businesses, 40 of which are in the Oldsmar area. Participants visit many of the local restaurants. They can do it from now until December to get their passports stamped. Each of the 100 businesses donated gift certificates or gift baskets to be given away throughout the event, as well as at the awards meeting at the end of the event in December at the Hampton Inn in Oldsmar. I want to say a big thank you to Nielsen, one of our local businesses, who kind of, Mark laid it out. Nielsen kind of helped put it together and then printed it for us. We worked with Pinellas County to distribute over 4,000 masks within our Oldsmar businesses and residences, many of them used for the face mask challenge. And we also were fortunate enough to deal with Raccoon Man every week that came to get a mask at the chamber. That's a story for another day. If you've witnessed Raccoon Man at City Hall, you'll know who I'm talking about. Since March, we've added, this is a great part, we kind of wondered, I think at the chamber, and Mark can attest to this, we kind of wondered where we would be at the pandemic, but businesses really want to be a part of the chamber. We've added 37 new businesses, and we've also now, we're up to 34 charities that we're helping. And I can tell you this, and Mark can attest to this, people are coming to the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce because we are doing things. The word that we're hearing out and about from members that are signing up is that none of the other chambers are really doing anything. So we are out and about. The Education Foundation, which is something that's a cooperation with the chamber. We just recently hosted a Bright Future Scholarship Expo. We hosted that at the chamber over 2 nights. We had 70 registered students that spoke to 8 nonprofits to provide opportunities for students to meet their community service hours. So that was great. We're going to take that a step further and set up a recording process. We're going to work with the city, similar to the way you did the face mask challenge, and get each of the charities to come into the chamber, kind of give a little spiel so that that we can keep that in our database so that students throughout the year, not just once a year, can come into the chamber and see which charity that they want to be a part of. So I think that's really important moving forward. And then, of course, talking about us doing events, this coming Friday, we are hosting the annual Chamber Golf Tournament. We have just under 100 golfers, and that's really as a restriction of the COVID rules at Eastlake Woodlands. It's going to be the first scramble event that actually Eastlake Country Club has hosted, and it's going to be benefiting the Education Foundation. And I don't know if there are any questions. If not, I know that I left the coffee pot on, and it's really, really important that we get down there to shut that
and you look
coffee.
like you're dressed to go to the golf course right now, so we want to thank you, Mayor, for dressing up for us tonight.
Yes, sir.
For your presentation.
Yep.
Are there any questions of the chamber?
I thought the cameras were broke. So.
At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Bureau report.
I don't know about that. Don't look at me like
that. I don't know, a little windy if you ask me. Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Mayor Seidel, I would like to comment, please.
Go right ahead.
I would just like to say that list of services and from Mayor Beavis, and some of them I didn't even know. My company is a member of the chamber, so I think it's very impressive that even through the pandemic, that they're still providing services upon services because of the pandemic. But I think that this is a good deal for the money.
Agreed. Agreed. Any other comments?
I think it's a very important relationship that we have.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
All right. Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And seriously, thank you for the extra efforts that you guys have put in during the pandemic, because you know it has been a partnership that something happens, we're trying to figure it out. We're communicating to get the message out to the business community. The chamber's been just such a critical role with that, hand in hand with the city. So the partnership definitely works. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Let me get that coffee pot. We'll be right back.
Would you do that? All right. Item number 9.
Thank you. Item 9 is request council approval for the agreement with Suski Consulting LLC for consulting and lobbying services for fiscal year 2021. City initially contracted with Suski Consulting for consulting and lobbying services in January of 2018. As a result of the initial success of the relationship, the city renewed the agreement with the firm with additional scope of work for the next fiscal year and again for this fiscal year. The relationship has brought substantial benefit to the city since the inception of the contract, including assistance in receiving $1 million state appropriation for the Douglas Road project. The firm will provide necessary consulting and government relations services for the city before the Florida executive and legislative branches and other entities on issues related to the city's infrastructure and other funding needs. Staff believes it is in the city's best interest to continue this established working relationship and finalize current projects and provide for a strong backdrop of support for future needs of the city of Oldsmar. Cost of the agreement will be $5,000 per month or $60,000 for consulting and lobbying services plus annual expenses not to exceed $3,000 or $250 per month. Funding is available in the budget, in the operating budget, and staff recommends approval.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilmember Norris.
Second.
Okay, discussion? We have certainly gotten our money's worth.
Yes,
that is for sure.
Agreed.
Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 10.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 10 is request council approval to waive bid requirements and approve the purchase, installation, and programming of upgraded audiovisual components from Audiovisual Innovations, Inc., or what we know as AVI SPL, per the pricing terms and conditions as the TIPS contracts number 171001 and number 190703 on piggyback forms 18-017B and piggyback form 20-035 for a total of $69,799.95. The current audio-video system, as council is well aware, it was installed in 2011, and several components, including the main AV Crestron system, have reached the end of their life, can no longer be serviced. Information technology has researched various options and has recommended the purchase of replacement AV equipment from AVI SPL, utilizing pricing terms and conditions available through the TIPS cooperative contract previously mentioned, number 190703. Installation and programming will be provided under a different TIPS cooperative contract of number 1701001. This initial core equipment programming upgrade will cost a total of $69,799.95 and is necessary to proceed with the additional functionality of newer technologies, including video conferencing, document sharing, and screen annotations, which are not currently available in our current AV system. Additional enhancements are planned for early in the fiscal year 2021. Staff recommends approval.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Knapp, second by Suraki. Any discussion? You notice the screen's dark right now?
Can it be installed tomorrow?
Yeah. I think you're all ready to vote. All right. Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right, City Clerk.
Oh, I don't have anything.
You're good. All right. City Council, item number 11, discuss establishing policy for requiring in-person attendance for council meetings and work sessions. So let me start the discussion on this. I believe it's important that we establish this policy. As you all have learned, and we've all learned during this year, that with some of the interpretations that have taken place at the state level, whether it be through executive order of allowing more flexibility with Zoom-type meeting, video meetings, or whether it's been some of the opinions from the State Attorney General. One of the things that happens with a lot of those executive orders is it kind of becomes, this is the bar that you as a local county or city has to stay under, for lack of a better word. But as it gets closer to the local level, we have the ability to make things stricter, right? And so that's a pretty common theme. However, in this particular case, and at the opinion of council, the issue of allowing someone to call in is permitted via those orders, executive orders and opinions, provided that at least 3 people meet in person and establish that quorum. And the reason it's permitted is because we don't have a policy officially that says you must be here in person to be considered present. And I think that's a mistake. And I believe that we should have a policy, and I'm going to throw this language out and then we'll have discussion. The purpose of this would be to essentially vote on instructing the city attorney to go and create, I would imagine, a resolution to that effect.
Right, you already have your rules of procedure. We can add it to
the
your
meeting
current.
rules of procedures. Okay, yeah, it would be a rule. All right, workshop and city council meetings require in-person attendance unless approved by a majority vote of the city council or by executive order in the event the city is under a state of emergency.
Could you read that just one more time?
Workshop and city council meetings require in-person attendance unless approved by a majority vote of the city council or by executive order in the event that the city is under a state of emergency.
Okay.
Comments?
Okay.
Councilmember Strachey.
I kind of like the idea. I believe that when we are together here at the dais, we get more done than through telephone or through Zoom. I actually feel that we get more accomplished, Mayor.
I agree. I agree. And you know, this doesn't preclude us from having a Zoom type meeting, provided that there is some kind of evidence of executive order that permits it in general from the governor's office, right? And so, in any event. Councilmember Knapp.
I have a question in terms of the majority. Is that in advance of a potential absence or after the fact?
I think it would have to be in advance. So whatever language it would have to include.
Just how it would be written.
Because otherwise what would happen if the policy said you have to be in person, right? If you're not here, we're not going to let you call in. It's that simple, right? Unless there was an approval that permitted it.
So as far as my comments go, I plan to have travel later this year and kind of inadvertently didn't think it all the way through, but it was a financial decision around the holidays for November. So I'm going to be traveling the 13th through the 18th. And kind of the way I see it is that, you know, one of our council priorities is to be a more automated and connected city. So I understand there are hiccups with being able to call in or to video conference, but we're starting to move in that direction of potentially being able to do it. I think when it's the hybrid, that's probably the least desirable of any of the three scenarios. But I just wanted to put that out there because I would fully intend, even though I won't be here, that I would love to be able to participate, and will go out of my way to make sure I'm not distracted and have the time for it. So I just wanted to have that on record because it's kind of, you know, we're in 2020, and I think if we made the effort for that, I think we could find a way to be even more efficient at that hybrid state.
Okay.
So.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. My opinion is that we should all be here, physically present. And the reason for that is for some of the reasons that have been mentioned, the efficiency of the council. And, you know, I think it's important that the people who elected us see us up here, see us here doing the people's business. One of the troublesome things I find with any sort of hybrid system or an option to call in is you can end up with a quorum physically present, and then perhaps two people wanted to be gone. Well, who gets to be the two people? So for example, let's say it's the meeting just before 4th of July, which we all love to hate, and we kind of go back and forth, but it's, you know, sometimes been canceled, sometimes not. Let's say I have a trip planned, so I got my, you know, in advance absence out there, you know, I'm going to be absent, and then Dan says, oh, I got mine. Well, it's like, okay, so I'm going to put it on the agenda right now for summer 2021 that I'm going to be one of the people, you know what I mean? And it you know, it bothers me that there might be a logistical issue there, creating like an inherent unfairness. I am in favor of us being here in person. I don't think that, you know, this is like an isolated issue that's not without our control. You mentioned a couple modifications to the in-person requirement, which I think are sufficient to deal with it. I think we should be here in person.
Okay. Councilmember Norris.
I agree with many of the points made by other council members, and upon having a conversation with Tom, he told me that some cities review their rules of procedure every year, like Dunedin, and others like Oldsmar, we don't do it for years. So I would be in favor of you guys choosing what to do. I will not be running for re-election, so I think that it's more important what the four of you would like to go forward with, but I would be in favor with reviewing the rules of procedure.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and so here's the thing on this. And to your situation that you talked about, Andrew, we sometimes miss council meetings.
Right.
You know, it happens. We have family events, we have work events, we have health events. The solution to that is, you know, you get it approved. It becomes an approved absence because it is a reason that everyone recognizes as viable. We are part-time, allegedly, right? And so you miss it. It's the way it's, you know, I believe when the citizens elect us, they have a level of expectation for us to be able to perform the job. What I speak to here is that calling in is not performing the job, in my opinion. It is a means to stay on a council. You know, I'm not going to beat up Councilmember Norris. You know, her and I have had this conversation. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's the right thing to do even when someone's sick. I think if this subject comes up in the future and someone has an illness, you know, they have the ability to miss 2 meetings. And the third meaning, you should be asking yourself, am I able to perform my job? And I will speak firsthand of this because I got elected to council in 2007. In 2009, I broke my neck. And I knew that I could not perform my job, not just council meetings. Council meetings are the tip of the iceberg. It's the vote, right? It's all the other work that goes into it. It's these council people up here put a lot of time, a lot of effort. They go to events, they talk to citizens. This is just a small 2-hour window, right? And so I resigned because I knew I would not be able to do my job the way I was expected to. I hated doing it. I didn't want to do it, but it was the fact, and I accepted it. And so I don't even support us. You know, if there was a situation, someone's sick, I'm sorry, I hate that. You have to resign. You can't do your job, you can't do your job, and that's the expectation. So in any event, I will entertain a motion to direct the city attorney to draft a resolution creating a rule to the language that I had presented at the beginning, which I'm happy to restate if the city attorney would like me to.
I'll get it from you by email.
Perfect. All right. So as I stated at the beginning, I will entertain that as a motion.
So moved.
Vice Mayor moves. Second?
Second.
Second, Suski. Any further discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item number 12, approve the tentative agenda for October 6, 2020. Is there anybody who wishes to pull anything from the tentative agenda? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the tentative agenda as presented.
May I make a motion to approve?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I had a comment from our city attorney.
I would like to know if we could add to the agenda the resolution that we were talking about earlier tonight for the registration of golf carts. I'd like to bring it back as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And so there's no gap after the ordinance is adopted. And so I think it's if it.
Very good. No, I agree 100%. I didn't even, okay. So we need a, we didn't vote actually on the tentative agenda, did we? The train started running and.
Right.
And then,
you have your motion to approve, and then I just jumped in.
Okay, so, and then who was it who made the motion? I believe it was the vice mayor.
No, it was me.
All right, Councilmember Suski, would you withdraw that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the tentative agenda with the following amendment, that we add the golf cart resolution. We can clean it up from there.
So moved.
Motion to add the golf cart resolution to the
Excellent.
tentative agenda for next meeting.
All right, so there's a motion to approve the tentative agenda as amended. I have a motion and a second. Second, was that Vice Mayor down there? All right?
Yes.
Any discussion? Getting a little sloppy here. All right, since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. That work, Tom?
Thank you.
Council comments. Councilmember Suski.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple things. I just want to make sure everyone knows that the Legislative Awards Dinner, as president of the Suncoast League of Cities, has been postponed again.
Oh, has it?
And so the September 26, 2020 dinner is off.
Okay.
All right.
It's not on, and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? We have to, abide by the rules.
No new
of
date
social
yet.
distancing.
It's a social distance, all right.
And the last thing, Mayor, because I know we're in a hurry, but I just want to say that I loved everyone's face-off challenge video. Mayor, yours was excellent. Katie, yours was excellent. Andrew, yours was excellent. It was a great event. You know how I felt at the beginning. I wasn't really sure about doing it, but it turned out to be a great thing for our city, and I just want to congratulate all of you on a great job. That's it.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Knapp.
I would like to second Councilmember Suski on the comments about the face-off challenge. And I'd also like to give a shout out to all the people that won. It was great to see the participation. And then the only other thing I have is I'd like to give a shout out to the city engineer for making a visit to some residents today. They had some flooding concerns that I discussed with the city manager earlier, and just like that, he was on it. So
on it.
Shout out to staff. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Norris.
Thank you, Mayor. First, as all of you know, I am currently in treatment. I did opt for the 45-day program instead of the 30-day program. So I'll be completing this just by the end of September. And I would like to thank all of those that sent me support through text, emails, calls, and cards. Your support really, really warmed my heart. Thank you. Next, I would like to encourage our citizens to come this Saturday for Oldsmar's first tree giveaway. And it's from 9 to 12 at Municipal Services Building, and they've got a real wide array, a good variety of trees, and you just need to have ID proving your address, and you can pick out 2 trees, and they will be given away. And once they're done, they're done. So it's going to be on a first come, first serve. So it saddens me that I'm going to miss this event because I've advocated for trees for many years. Alexis and Felicia and Al will probably get tired, are probably going to be happy not to hear me bugging for a tree program. So I am happy that Oldsmar is going to get greener. So that's this Saturday. And on that note, congratulations to Ashley Painter, because we are now elevated from a silver level city, green city to, we went from silver to gold, right? So we started out as silver, and through her efforts, we have raised to a gold green city. So bravo to that. And then finally, I'd like to thank Tony and Frank Gross for that wonderful tribute to the 2 Gold Star families, the Garriantis and the O'Briens. We just really take care of our veterans and, our Gold Star families, and it's just wonderful to be in a city that honors our veterans as much as we do. And their ultimate sacrifice will never, ever be forgotten. So God bless you all. And that's it. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Most of my comments have been covered, so I will refrain from being repetitive. Just one thing that I wanted to mention is that I have an interview coming up at the beginning of next month for participation in Leadership Pinellas. So it has been rescheduled. Yes, it's been rescheduled. They're doing the interviews the first couple weeks in October, and then the actual sessions will begin with a retreat in December, and then starting in the springtime, weekly on Wednesdays, culminating with a trip to Tallahassee during session. Excellent. So they had to kind of shift things around due to COVID, but the interview is set. I'm really excited. I hope it works out. I would love the chance to participate. So coming up soon. I'll keep you posted.
Love it.
You're going to love it. Very good. All right, I do have some items. First up, I want to give a shout out to Boy Scout Pack 475. They were here last night, and with the assistance of our city clerk's office, Ann was going to be here, and Ann ended up double booked. So Kathy, last minute, stepped right in and got us open up. We had a nice crowd here, and they learned a lot about city government, and they had some tough questions for the mayor. So those guys are already voting, I think. So anyhow, just shout out to them that they came out, and it was a pleasure to have them. The Face-Off Challenge, I want to thank everyone who's been involved. I want to once again thank our sponsors who participated, Empower Adventures, the restaurants, Casa Cosenza, Flamestone, Salt Rock, Beechwood, and then we also had 'Cause You Cares came in towards the end with their care pack, the nice sprays. I don't know if y'all have gotten them. I bought a bunch of them, and I've been using them. They're awesome. But I want to thank everyone in our staff who put this on, and really, it's one of those things where we get a great idea up here, and then the staff actually executes the idea, and makes it look like we had a lot to do with it other than recording videos and promoting on social media. So thank you, everybody. I think it was well received. Just one more reminder of the Gold Star Mother's Day. Mom's Day, I think it's Mom and Family is the right term. The last Sunday of this month. And so please, keep those folks in your prayers, as always, and know that is, I can't even imagine the ultimate sacrifice that those families make for our freedom. And it's very, very real. So I do have one other thing. Go Bolts. With that, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second. Does not require a vote. We're adjourned.